A thread by Soul War. Trump is surrounded by disloyal GOP operatives desperate to get him to concede. And this is news. Did anyone miss my last thread where I patiently explained 80% of the federal government is staffed by leftists? So, how many GOP are actually members of the Uniparty? From Axios, Trump turns on everyone. You know, the Uniparty that was running DC off of the abuse of citizenry for decades, who cannot wait to get back to that sweet status quo once Trump is firmly pushed out of the White House. We are now at peak disinformation from both sides. Trump is churning it out hard, harder than his enemies, to hide what he's doing till he's ready. How can he not see all these disloyal goons at his elbow? What makes you think he doesn't already know who is who? Trump uses people mercilessly. He uses them up because this is a war. When Rex Tillerson's job was complete, it was time for Pompeo. Now do Romney, Bolton, Kelly, Mattis. Holy shit, I'm sensing a pattern here. President Trump uses people for their skills, and then, depending on how loyal they were, they land soft or hard when their usefulness is up. Now, for everyone screeching about FBI Director Wray, if Wray still has his fucking job, it's because Trump wants him there, period. Either to assure his enemies he's still a neutered president, or because he's using Wray for another job. Trump's using him. Get it? Until he doesn't need him there any longer. Then his exit will tell you everything you need to know about what kind of job Trump thinks he did. Anyone remember this guy's exit? For those of you just listening, it's Rod Rosenstein. My brother's #1 fan, Brian the Great, is slowly being vindicated on what Rosenstein was doing. Now, do former Attorney General Barr. People are floating utter bullshit about him. You'd have to know what kind of job he did to judge him, and about 200 people have a genuine idea right now. Are you one of them? I'm not, but I can see patterns and trends. Trump's about to start a new phase. So, there's going to be a changing out of people in his staff. I tried to remind people for years, don't believe anything you're seeing or hearing unless it's from Trump and Flynn directly. I now add tentatively Sidney Powell and Rudy Giuliani. And even them, Trump is using them mercilessly. He has to, because he cannot speak openly and directly about what his plans are. A huge amount of misdirection is occurring right now. I assure you, Powell, Flynn, Giuliani have zero problem with President Trump because they know what his goals are and wish to help. So now, we're hearing about Pat Cipollone and Mark Meadows and other White House staff trying to pressure or finesse President Trump into conceding as they block key intel communications from reaching him. This might even be true, but I am highly skeptical at this phase. Remember the ancient sea stories of 2017 and 2018 when Ivanka's tears drove foreign policy, or General Kelly as White House chief of staff was drugging Trump and stealing his smartphone? I'm claiming Flynn and Trump knew about Dominion in 2012, and in 2020 Trump's bubbled by traitors. Well, if it's true, then President Trump wanted those traitors there. Keep your friends close, your enemies closer. No need to do anything drastic. We've got people right there. We'll just run out the clock. Ho, ho, hee, hee. I told people the legal path was a distraction. Yep, stupid old Trump will just spin his wheels in court as the time runs out. We got him cold. He's finished. These pics tell a story. Can you read it? All right, let's read the story. All right, that was a skiff. This is the components of U.S. Cyber Command. Oath of enlistment. I do solemnly swear or affirm that I will uphold and defend the military oath. And a little sticker on a military guy saluting the flag saying, with a sticker that says, I voted. Okay, can you read the story? The tumult the nation is undergoing is now being used against the very people who fomented it. Here's a vital lesson about Marxism. All forms of communication are one form to them. Movies, news, music, video games are all separate forms to us, not to them. All are one, and they have actively sought to control every single medium used to disseminate information communication so they can then use those forms to ram their Marxist doctrines down your throat until you become them. Now President Trump is using their own mediums against them. If, and it's a big if, Trump has disloyal GOP weasels at his elbow at this phase of the game, it's because he needs them there. Till he doesn't. The idea he would just now be aware of them is ludicrous. So, my premise is he is aware of them and is feeding them bullshit as they do their best to influence, leverage him just to give up. Fat chance. President Trump is about to win, baby, and win big. I have to get this thread out now before it's overtaken by events. All the pieces are in place. I'm just awaiting the coming #Trumpocalypse. When all the plotting and scheming by America's enemies, those both foreign and domestic, are laid bare and then come to nothing, a literal century of maneuvering, positioning, spending countless amounts of wealth and time, end up with nothing but a stronger, wiser America with which to contend. All of the doubts, fears, and limbo we find ourselves in will soon be over. By January 1st, the path President Trump will be pursuing successfully towards his second term will be plain to see. If you love America, then you'll be thrilled. If you don't, then you'll be chilled. Merry Christmas Eve to all. Don't let these gaslighting fear-mongers beat you down. Trump's already won. In the coming days, he's going to clue his enemies in on that. Boy, I sure hope you didn't cave in and surrender as many did. This was a test of faith, after all. To donate and support the works of Brent Cates, go to paypal.me/Brent Cates. Also, please check out the Americana Rising Teespring store. Link in the thread.
I will be the greatest president that God ever created.